Okay, everyone, hello, welcome back to In Ear Fetish. I'm your host, Z Reviews / Zeos Pantera / This Is Awful. No, seriously, the naming convention is just god awful. In fact, even my contact at Hi-Fi Go has just been calling them Performer 7 because nobody wants to do math. Nobody wants to do math. But yeah, so imagine the Performer 5, which from Awful, you know, everyone loves the Performer 5. I actually sold mine only when the Performer 8 came out. So now we've got the Performer 7, and instead of being all balanced armatures, what we have is 4 BAs, one microplanar that is basically the same size as a balanced armature, and 2 dynamics to do the bass. Because apparently people were complaining that the Awful Performer 5s lacked bass, and once you change... All right, I was using them on the Dunu SS, and I thought they still lacked bass. And if we go in here, I had to keep the entire box out, because apparently this is how they give you tips. The entire packaging now has to be kept for all the tips. Those are all still just normal silicones. Where are the foamies? Where are the foamies? So, took it upon myself to promote my own collaborations. These are the render tips, which are silicone, just like everything else, but stuffed underneath the lip here with a beautiful memory foam. Oh. So you get that seal. You get a good seal. And if I only had the stock tips or the Duno SS's or any silicone tip, this would be a very different review. Once I put on either, and I think you could probably work it with a Deconi or a Comply, but once I put on an actual sealing tip into these, which look like that, they're very pretty. They're actually super comfortable too. They have like the right shape. They're big, but they're not like terribly big, and they're super lightweight. They haven't like added metal for no reason. Once you get them fitting and in your ear, and then on top of that, pick a juicy source. And I don't know how you want to define the words juicy and source, but that's a juicy ass source. Once you have the right tips and the right source, this man from the Planeteus OST, this is Remember Me, is just burping a goddamn trumpet right into my brain. Like, it's actually mildly disturbing. Like, get out of my head, mister. Why are you there? In fact, I'm going to just come off this. It is balanced. This one is labeled 4.4, which makes me believe that you can get it without. The current page says it's $10,000 because it's not available yet. So I'm actually getting this done before it goes on sale, which is rare for me. Yeah, either 3.5 or 4.4 will be available. I believe they were aiming, and I don't know the full price, I believe they're aiming for $250. That's fine. Here's the inside. There's your high-frequency BAs, your mid-frequency BAs, because it's fucking awful performers, which means it's all BAs. And then they got the little microplanar, and then the 2-in-1 fucking... Actually, no, they're offset. I'm trying to read how these are designed. The 2 dynamics there for the low end. Blah, 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 blah. Exceptional treble. Everything else after this is just catheter tube. Everything else after this is just whatever. You do know about... One of the things that makes Awful and the Performer series, like, amazing is the fact that they're using, like, an actual little miniature crossover, which I'm surprised they're not showing the actual thing, but I guess I don't want to show you what's going on. It's just showing you how the frequency dividers work. So, yeah, we go, and we hit play, and we hit next track, and then we plug it in somewhere, because being unplugged, that's never a good sign. Oh, God, that would have been so loud. Oh, God. Zeos just saved his ass. Never. I saw -10. I'm like, 10. 10's low. No, -10. So, I'm gonna bring up some... I'm gonna quell some concerns. On microplanar Zeos, that sounds like treble murder. No. It's so small, and it only does the highest of frequencies, and I can just taste it. It's like if you take a pinch of salt and go... And all of a sudden the food is like, this was missing something. Now it's great. Microplanar. Everyone should get some microplanar. The base, however, is still pretty respectably neutral. Like, as the creator of Rinko and Eris, I have some pretty fucking high standards for bass. Like, I've been listening for several minutes and I haven't shit my pants once. Obviously not enough bass. So these respect... When I was using with the silicone tips, the words that kept coming to my mind were surgical and respectful. And once I put in the foam tips or any sort of really well sealing tips and started messing around, we're back on a very clean solid state. There's just more energy. It's delivering a little bit more like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. Never dull. It was never a dull sensation. But it's just one of those things that you want it to... You know when you meet somebody and you're having a great time, and they're having a great time, and everything goes great. But it's not like one of those nights you're going to remember for years. It's just one of those nights where you're like, yeah, I met her. We had a great time. And then 3 months later, you'll separate and you'll have a great time with someone else. It was only one of those great times with silicone tips. Now that I've got it on the foam tips and I'm plugging it into some stupid stuff that's like Class A or warmer, or tubes, now it feels like there's men in my head with trumpets. More trumpets. Postmodern Jukebox, wake me up. It feels like someone laid out a table in front of me, much like this table that's laid out in front of me, and just put all the instruments and all the singers and things right there. So it's not like to the side of my head, or it's like, I don't know, it's incohesive. It is a cohesive fucking experience from front to back. It is, here is what you're going to hear. Can you see it clearly? Yes, because it's right on the table in front of me. Okay, go. Of course, obviously the trumpet's coming out to my right. But her singing is like, Jesus, that reaches up so high. Headphones dream of having treble like this. Okay. These would be fucking sick for gaming. Because they have that little bit of treble that just would let you know exactly what's going on everywhere. So while I'm listening to music, I hear Indiana Jones, and I hear someone playing a violin over there. But I can tell it's got, 5 strings, and one of those strings might be a little bit loose, man. You might want to go back in time to like the 1980s and fix that string. So it's just like this tremendous treble. Because if you consider there's 2 BAs doing treble, and there's one planar doing half the treble, or at least the high-end treble, and there's 2 subwoofers in the basement that are just tuned gently. And then 2 mid-range balance armatures, which we know Awful is going to do fantastically. They're not as fun as the Explorers. The Explorers were $120 and super fucking fun. These are still that surgeon. He's just wearing a Hawaiian shirt while cutting you open. If I fell asleep wearing these, I'd probably have weird fever dreams. Because they're doing such wild placement of sounds. Womp, womp, womp. Then there's womp womps coming in. Orbital petrol. Just, I wish you could hear all the music I'm listening to, but YouTube and everyone's a dick. I should do exclusive Patreon videos that I upload to Patreon with all the titty waifus and music playing, and I don't give a shits. Big F words, F bombs at the beginning of the video, just to see if anybody wants to join for that. Like, I could do 2 reviews. I feel like my style of review here on YouTube has been, curtailed into this cute little box. Where, like, oh, you can't say that. Oh, you can put a waifu, but... And I would wonder, would you guys join up just to watch me go, like, here is the normal review. Not an edited down review. Not like you got an edited review here on YouTube and an I'm talking about 2 whole separate reviews. Even if they were short, 3-minute segments of me just going fucking ham. See how I just made the word fucking real quiet? because I don't want the algorithm to be like, he says F words too much. But if you're paying me and Patreon doesn't care, I'd go ham. Oh, I put it up way too loud. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, when you get up real loud, it kind of hurts. It's just a lot going on. Don't do that. These are a precision-guided missile, and if you... Oh, the fix saved by 0. It's not making my skin crawl, but it's doing that thing with sound where it's like so accurate that I'm like, why is it near me? Get this. The music is too close. Back the music up. I feel claustrophobic in the sound. And somehow that's not a bad thing. It doesn't sound claustrophobic. Like, oh, it just sounds claustrophobic. No, it sounds like the fix is in the room and they're all this high and they're just on a platform around my head and they're just jamming way too close for comfort. You could honestly probably mix and master with these. They don't feel like they're exaggerating anything. They've got crazy good treble extension, and the bass is responsive and controlled. They might have accidentally made a mastering IEM, which is... I just did the Studio 6 by Dunu, and that thing was lots of money. It's amazing that gaming headsets and studio headphones occupy the same space in my brain. Because you're doing precision. It matters. When you're doing a studio thing, your perception of how the thing sounds matters. Because it's going to be duplicated and played by a million things that you have to be sure of. And when you're gaming, if you can't hear shit, you're going to die. So there's a similar amount of pressure there. You know, I've been to Dulles, and no matter how many times I've seen Die Hard 2, which is an amazing Die Hard, and should be on par with Die Hard 1 for people on rewatchability and Christmas, I still hate that fucking airport. Dulles is the worst. It was way better in the movie. All right, here you go. Led Zeppelin. Older music. There's no way there's imaging like this in Led Zeppelin. I have not heard it. Like right now it's happening in the back of my head, but then there's like, it's like I could feel his guitar reaching not over my shoulder, not that far, but just like things are moving. It's wild. Oh, and the wire's really nice too. It's got one of those wires. It's like, oh, damn it. I don't want to change this wire. It's too nice. And you wouldn't have to. If you want a 3.5, don't. Buy a 4.4 and get an adapter. All right. See, look, this adapter exists. It's like $40 fucking, but oh, I thought I lost this, by the way. This is the one I found. It was in my backpack when I was in London. So I just put it in there. So yeah, I'm going to give, I got to give a number for these. Do I want to give them a 9 or, I'm not giving them a 10. They're a little bit too well behaved for Zeos to give it a 10. A 10 is usually something that makes me rip off my clothes and run naked through the streets. Which happens more often than not. These are an 8 to a 9. We're going to call them an 8.5 because I think at their price point, they're doing a lot, but they're also doing a lot. I think if they called it the Performer 7, I'd give it a 9. How about that? But since they're making me do fucking math, you get a half-point deduction. 8.5. Still an amazing set. And it says P5 plus 2. They're even making you do math when you look at them on the side. And I don't hate this. It reminds me of my binders when I was like in grade school, when the coolest thing you could have was a cool binder. So yeah, links to these. Thank you to them for sending it out. Wallpaper in the Wallpaper Hoard. I guess I could put all this stuff back in the way because I took it out only because I wanted to show you all the tips. So yeah, awful. I can't wait for the next IEM. The Performer, a 5.2 raised to the power of 3, all that in brackets over Sigma. That's going to be a good one. Patreon subscribes to support this channel. Thank you for everyone who supports this channel. If you want to see more reviews without paying for them, go to my Patreon and subscribe star. There's usually a list of a few. I'm only making 2 today, but usually I'll do 2 or 3 or 4, certainly as many as that in a week. And since I can't come out except for every third day, there's usually a backlog, and I leave that backlog open for you to watch. So if you're interested in what's coming up, check it out. You'll look for an unlocked post for that. You could also go there and check out the unlocked post for the Q&A. $5 patrons get to ask me questions, and I do release the answers, at least, to their questions, free for everyone. And don't forget, there is a main channel. This is the In-Ear Fetish channel, which is an offshoot, because nobody there wanted to see IEM reviews, but everybody here wants to see IEM reviews. So we're good, right? Good, 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 good. Thank you all, and good night.